Well, hello there. That guy you see weaving and dodging in and out of the cones there and kind of goose stepping is my awkward goose stepping baby brother. He's sort of moonwalking there, but he's moonwalking forwards, and it's not a moonwalk. It's it's a hop, a skip, and a jump. I don't know what it is, but we're on the ground here at Spadaro Lufker Airport. I believe we're on the Lufker side. And what's cool about this place is it's two little crappy airstrips out on Long Island, and on this side you've got grass, and on this side you've got the rinkiest, dinkiest little asphalt runway here with another guy moonwalking forwards. You got power lines here, you got trees everywhere. It's a little bit well, it's a little bit of fun, to tell you the truth. And God, it's a beautiful airport though. I mean, look at the work on the grass here. This is by Nimbus, I think, and this actually looks like grass, which is pretty rare for X-Plane. And I just come here because well, first of all, because I like looking at the scenery and it's pretty good. I actually wish we could get rid of those people walking around, but I mean, look at this clutter. This is some good stuff here, and the bicycle even looks authentic and aged or weathered or whatever you want to call it. But I come out here because I like to have myself a little proficiency run, so nothing really spectacular. And I just realized that that is not the right airfield elevation or pressurization, because I think I've set a normal day, and that should be right about there. And that's good to go. We're not going to do anything fancy here. We're just going to practice a couple short field takeoff and landings, or in this case, soft field takeoff and landing. The way you do it in a real plane is to pretty much hold the stick almost all the way back and kind of get the nose wheel just lightly off the ground as you're doing your takeoff roll, the aim being basically to take the load off the thing and not to get it beat to crap, and not to bust your plane up, and also to get up off the surface as soon as you can. And what you do ideally is you just lift off and then you slightly nose down, you stick in the ground effect for just a little bit so you can build some speed, and then you go on your way. We've got a little bit of a complication there in the sense that we've got an obstacle clearance problem, so there's limits to how long we can linger. And other than that, that's going to bite us also on the landing. We're going to do a landing on each one of these, and we're going to do it from the opposite end. There's no wind today, so it doesn't really matter. And I'm picking this end because it's more scenic, and because it's also a little bit scary, because the obstacle, there's on this side of us here, there's I want to say it's the Sunrise Highway, but it could be the Southern State. No, I think it's the Sunrise Highway, but anyway, it is right over there. But other than that, it's trees, and there's really no big problem to speak of, and it's kind of no fun. So we're going for the fun. Brookhaven Airport's also right around here somewhere, and so is Peconic, just a little ways up the way. And of course out in that direction, actually right around here, I think this is Moriches Bay. And then, or maybe that is up there, and further out, that's Peconic Bay. And further out are Hamptons. There's Brookhaven right there, unless that's West Hampton. I don't do enough flying around here to know, but if I do my flight training out at Republic, which is just a little bit over that way, then I'm sure I'm going to be getting to know the VFR environment here a lot better. So I've got ortho installed, and I'm doing a little bit more flying around here than usual, just so that when I finally get up in the air, I won't be completely lost. Let's check that. Let's turn on our boost pump. I'm doing some of this stuff just out of rote and out of drill, for no other reason then to get in the habit of doing it. Just checking this, the exhaust gas temperature on this gauge has been a little bit wonky since the advent of 11.3. It's a little bit non-linear. It shouldn't really get that cold that quick, but you know, who's counting? And I'm also idling a little bit fast, but that's all right. I'm not paying for the gas. So basic procedure is to pretty much firewall it, get on out of here, tap the brakes, gear up, flaps up when we're not in the middle of a maneuver, when it's safe to do, and when we've got enough speed to spare. Then roll off the power ever so slightly, bring it down to about 25 inches of manifold pressure, and bring the props down to 25 for the climb. We'll climb up to about 1,500 feet. Tootle around just a little bit. I'm not going to fly a standard pattern. One of the challenges here from a VFR standpoint is finding the airport, because I've installed some trees, as you can see, and the trees get pretty thick. Without those trees, you can kind of see more of these landmarks like this road right here, but the trees kind of obscure it. So what we're going to keep our eyes out for is we're going to make sure when we come back, this little spit of land is almost directly underneath us, and we're going to look for this little jug ear or pitchfork formation here, so we kind of know where we are. And if we see these roads here, it means we've screwed up. And I've done it many, many times, because this airport tends to disappear. And the other complication is there are certain features around here, like that looks like the Strip. This from a distance looks similar. The highway you can't see from the cruise altitude necessarily, so you can't sort of use this as a backstop. It kind of gets a little bit difficult, and you can find yourself in the wrong inlet, like in this one or that one, and all kind of have it look the same. So we're looking for this little spit of land when we come back. I'm going to try and keep it all in sight. However, I'm not using track IR, so the looking around bit is going to be a little bit funky. It always is. So with your forbearance, let's get going. Let me just take off the parking brake here. There we go. All right, hold the stick back a bit. Get some right rudder in, just get it light on the nose. Okay, take off power. All right, keep it there, and the ground effect till we build up a little speed. Gear up. It beeps because the configuration is odd. It's 2 notches of flaps instead of 1. I've also turned off the sound on the GPS because it will scream at us the entire time. So I'm just going to head around here. There's our spit of land that we're looking for on the way back. There's some palm trees here on Long Island, of course. Hey, if they can make wine here, then they can have palm trees. So we'll just climb up on out of here. Power's back. Bring our props back a bit, just for your comfort. And climbing at 100, and we will just run parallel to the coast here. We'll turn around. We'll follow the beach back, and then we'll land first on the grass and then the asphalt. We're not going to do touch and goes either. It's not the best place in the world to do a touch and go. You'd have to go pretty damn quick, I guess. All right, so we'll level off here. Not going to let the speed build up too much because we're going to be slowing down again pretty quickly. We can turn off our pump for now and get and trim like good pilots here. And if you're doing a regular stick then, or a regular yoke, you just relax your pressure on it until your nose is where you want, and then you trim off so that you don't, so where you have the stick, it stays stuck in essence. Alright, so we'll make a nice coordinated turn here. Degrees per second. Look at that, a nice standard right turn, which is basically doing a 180. Admiring the scenery. And we're going to be looking for that little notch O, land and sea. Which is, if I'm not mistaken, here or right there. You see what I mean? That's the airport, if I'm not mistaken. And it might very well be. Yeah, that should be the airport right around there. There's our little, yeah, there's our little fork road. If got it right. Okay, gonna get geared down. Full on the props. You see, it's hard to see, but that is the airport. So we're in a base leg here. We're going for the grass. You have to chop the throttle right as you get over the power lines, otherwise you float too far down the runway. So get our pumps on, our lights are already on. Got one notch of flaps in, retrimming. I'm just going to slow down to about 75 and get some more flaps in. We're looking sweet and meaty here. There's no wind to speak of, so that much is simplified. Okay, we're at about 15 inches of manifold, which is just about right. That's going to yield us about 70 knots coming down. I'm not touching the power here, and let's just see. About 75. That's because I'm sinking more than I would if it weren't high. So just lining up. Put in all my flaps. Land as slowly and draggily as we can. It's a short field landing with the complication of this obstacle, and you can see the GPS is not happy, and I don't blame it. Just doing a little trimming here. That tree is a little added extra. Okay, so power out, nose down, and arrest the sink, and there we are. Bit abrupt, but safely on. Let's see what that looked like. I probably could have kept the power in just a little bit. We do have a little bit of runway, but let's give this a go. Unfortunately, I think if you lay back this thing, the rumble continues no matter what you do. Well, let's find out. All right, so there it is. Here we are. And as you can see, you know, I want to have a little healthy respect for those power lines. You don't want to come and scrape your belly over them. All right, so there is the touch, and that's the new particle system in X-Plane. It's a little exuberant. All right, let's see. I probably could have flared a little bit earlier, but you know, if you flared just a little too early with the power chopped, you could very, very easily at that speed just stall it, and then stall it. Oh, there go the particles. Stall it right where, let's see, well, right where you don't want to stall it. You could stall it and fall out of the sky just a little bit on the high side. All right, let's see here. Let's see how much we clear the power lines by. All right, well, that's about as close as I would care to get. And let's see the trees. Yep, they're really can't do much lower than that. Now, power is out here. And I could have just a little more aggressively rounded out. Just. Although it's hard to complain. And I could have held the nose gear off just a bit more. But that's not too bad. All right. So let's head out for another go here. I'm just actually not congratulating myself on the landing. I'm congratulating myself for having seen the airport. That's how rusty and how lame I am. All right, I'm going to try this with a single notch of flaps. See if that gives us, well, it'll give us different performance. The question is, will it give us better performance? The answer is somewhere in the POH, which I don't have available. There's always a kind of diminishing return when you add flaps on a takeoff. It's sometimes useful for takeoff distance, but it loses you a little bit in climb angle. Different planes behave a little bit differently, and I hesitate to make any pontification. I have to say I'm just getting to know this plane less by the manual and more by just doing it and keeping my eyes open and seeing what works. And in the real one, basically, if you've got about 15 inches of manifold pressure, you can start going downhill, you can get yourself fully configured, and you'll go from about 125 knots to about 75, 80 knots, and then it's just a matter of tinkering with the power to get your descent rate and get your speed right. And yeah, I know you pitch for the speed part of it, but they're interconnected, and you tinker, and I don't think you realize how much you're using your hands as you're manipulating the throttle to kind of achieve that combination. So from aeronautic standpoint, I'm sure it's one thing. From a physiologic standpoint, it's kind of like trying to break down driving into components, and it's different when you say it than when you do it, and it depends on how powerful the engine is and how wingy the plane is, how much surface area, how loaded it is, and which input it responds to faster. So, that's why on bigger airliners and jets, especially with slow spooling engines, you kind of do the reverse. And so with a plane like this, though, it behaves pretty classically, so we're going to be classical pilots here. I'd play some classical music if I had it, but you know, I think I've hidden my drive with the music on it behind the Doric column or some other classical design element here in my palatial apartment. So let's get on out of here again. Try and do this a little bit more gracefully than the last departure. I'm just gonna pull the stick back here, and I'm gonna relax the pressure if it comes off too soon. There we go. It's a little bit. I yanked it off again, just a little bit, and we know how painful that can be. So up can come the gear, and there go the palm trees over there. And accelerate a little bit. Up can come the flaps. We'll climb at 100 again. Bring the power back ever so slightly. Bring the props back. Bring the props back to should be about 25, but with this throttle quadrant I've got sort of as a substitute, all right, that's close enough. It's harder to do. I had the other one set by feel, you know, so I knew to sort of scotch it a half a scooch, and that would get it right. And now I have to do what every sim pilot does, and it's fly by looking at the panel, which sucks. One of the beauties of flying a real plane, and I will tell you, I don't get to do it enough, and even when I'm going to be learning, I'm not going to have as much time as I like, which is not going to make me the world's best pilot. But the beauty of it is that it feels great, and it's a hell of a lot easier than flying on your desktop. It really is. I'll go up to 2,000 this time because I want to do a little slipping and fancy pants descending. Just get a nice cruise power here. And this airplane, 23 by 23 works fine. Don't want to creep up on that altitude. I want to smartly get there and then nose down. So let's try that again. Okay, and trim for a cruise-ish sort of cruise. There we go. Look at that. All right. Let's just see what it look like here. Turn off my... If that is my pump, I can turn it off. That is. See where I've got the power set. 24 by 24, that's fine. It's quiet enough not to be too annoying. And in a second we'll turn for home. This, I've got the yoke set up so that there's just a bit of extra travel in the middle of its range, you know, with a little bit of extra sensitivity. With actually a little less sensitivity, with more pull required to get a given output, which means that it isn't quite so twitchy anymore. I was doing some significant pulling there to make it do that. All right, let's come on back. Just going to turn a little steeper than before. Once again, shame on me, I don't know what the maneuvering speed is on this airplane. except I could just look right there, and it's, what is it, 110? 118. All right. And basically that's the speed at which you can go full deflection on your controls and not break the airplane, basically. I don't know if I'd care to try that. Older Piper low-wing aircraft, you have to watch out because they have, if you're not careful, you can get one with a corroded or damaged or badly repaired wing box, and there's a portion of it apparently that's hard to inspect, and the FAA is on the verge, I think, after that terrible breakup of a flight school plane down in Florida. I think it was a Warrior. With that, they decided to issue an airworthiness directive. And is that the airport? God, I hate this. This is, I do this all the time here. No, that's not the airport. Crap. Every time, the airport's right there. Every time I screw this up. And of course, every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. Alright. So, we're considerably higher than before. That's one reason why the picture looks different than before. Alright, there's our field. We will roll off the power here. Come full on the prop. Get us a little drag, slow us down. Get geared down. And actually I want to stay a little bit high here. Okay, get a notch of flaps in. Make our turn in 1 second. As I take advantage of the desktop ability to fly from the other side of the airplane temporarily. It makes up for the fact that in a real plane you've got more vision. Got better peripheral vision. You can just turn your head. Alright, so there we are. We're not even that high. I'm disappointed. Alright, let's hold ourselves a little high here. We will get in 2 notches of flap, so we will sink if we need to sink. Alright, so there's the little spitter runway. Okay, we're high. There's a video on here of a guy with either an instructor or his flying buddy. He's a Russian guy, and he says, sleep it in. So we shall sleep it. Set up a little slip here. Let's get on the down escalator. Out a little bit here and slow down. It's a teeny tiny little runway. I am sleeping now. In Soviet Russia, airplane lands you. Not maintaining center line very well, am I? Side of life. And look at this, we got a whole crowd of gawkers here. Very nice. Okay, well, that basically is it for today. Just a little bit of trying to do stuff with a reasonable amount of panache. I'm going to stay in this airplane for a while. I'm going down to Florida to visit my buddy next month, and I'm going to be flying it, and his is equipped almost identically to this one, except he's got an Aspen stack right here and a 530 right here, and same primitive autopilot. I think he's got GPS steering added to it, although I'm not sure. And of course, he just ADS beat it. And other than that, this thing is pretty much identical. King radios here instead of whatever these are. And but I mean, it feels just the same, looks just the same, performs pretty much just the same. So I'm going to practice up on this, and probably also do a little bit of IFR flying in this. I'll do my learning in this on the desktop just to keep it consistent, and so I can learn with a very basic 6-pack, and then after that everything else will seem easy. So stick with me, folks, and I won't say you'll go far, but you might see some interesting sights. And in the meantime, have a good rest of the week. I'll try to knock out another video or two, and I think we'll start sort of flying a little curriculum, so we can do this in a little bit more structured way, and you can learn some things, I guess, as I learn them, or at least just learn, wow, there's a floating house, or oh, you know what? That's a floating building. Holy crap. Oh my goodness. Somebody wake the neighbors, phone the kids, do something. Anyhow, on that note, with that phone number, it seems, see you again real soon. Bye-bye.